Ladies and gentlemen, here is the reading report on the topic energy. And again, the content of this record belongs completely to the website IEA.org or International Energy Agency. And the topic today is the prices of electricity in 2020. There are 3 points and this recording will last about 20 minutes. Now we start with the first point, falling wholesale electricity prices around the world. While wholesale electricity prices are determined by a large number of factors specific to each electricity market, trends averaged over a quarter are most often due to shifts in the balance of supply and demand and in the price of key input fuels. Prices are also highly seasonal due to heating and cooling needs, with the highest prices normally experienced in the summer in the United States, Japan, Australia, or winter in Europe. A quarterly wholesale price index, therefore, can be a useful tool to track the trends in individual markets and deduce overall trends. Since 2016, the IEA has been tracking wholesale prices in the main advanced economy electricity markets and in selected emerging and developing economy markets. The graph shows a selection of these markets with prices indexed to 100 for the average in the first quarter of 2016. To understand the underlying trends, we have combined the 4-quarter rolling average index prices to smooth seasonal effects of advanced economy wholesale electricity markets weighted by demand to greaten advanced economy wholesale electricity prices index. This is shown as a thick black line. The index increased by 34% between the fourth quarter of 2016 and that of 2018. This trend began to reverse in 2019 when the index fell by 12% due to falling electricity demand in advanced economies, increased renewable production that ensured a plentiful supply in most markets, and falling natural gas prices. 2020 has seen an acceleration of this decline, dramatically lower demand for electricity, increases in renewable production, and a fall in spot natural gas prices of between 20% and 50%, depending on the market, drove down wholesale electricity prices in the second quarter to their lowest levels since we began tracking. The most dramatic price fall took place in the Nordic electricity market, owing to abundant hydro supply. While market price recovered in the third quarter, thanks to higher demand and higher natural gas prices, the rolling 12-month average electricity price index continued to fall to a level 28% below the level seen in the final quarter of 2019, and in fact below the level observed in quarter 4 of 2016. Results for the final quarter of 2020 are expected to be similar to quarter 3. Now we move to the second point. Taxes play a significant role in electricity and user prices in many advanced economies. Electricity and user prices differ significantly between countries. Some influencing factors are the type of end-user price, for example, regulated or market-based, and the composition of the tax structure, for example, VAT, excise taxes, renewable energy, and capacity levies, environmental taxes. Industrial sector prices are especially high in Italy, Japan, Chile, the United Kingdom, Slovakia, Germany. In Italy and Germany, this is due to relatively high excise taxes, which many other countries do not impose on industrial consumers. At the lower range of industrial prices are Norway, despite charging, despite charging. At the lower end of industrial prices are Norway, despite charging VAT, Sweden, and Denmark, together with the United States. These markets benefit from low production costs due to access to favorable renewable sites, Scandinavia, and low fuel costs, United States. In most countries, household prices are significantly higher than industrial prices due to the presence of higher taxes and network charges. The provision of electricity at lower voltages to households requires more infrastructure and incurs higher costs, which leads to a higher price. Very high spreads can be observed in Denmark, with household prices being 4 times the price for industry, and Norway, Sweden, Spain, and Germany, where household prices are double those for industry. In many countries with the highest household electricity prices, including Germany, Denmark, and Italy, relatively high excise taxes are collected. In Germany, for example, the EEG surcharge for renewable is borne by residential customers while large industrial consumers are exempt, which partly explains the high household cost for electricity. Mexico has the lowest electricity prices for households by far, close to half the value of Korea's as the second lowest price. This is due to consumption being subsidized in part by the federal government and in part by the state-owned electric utility, resulting in the rare case of household prices being lower than those for industry. Third point, pattern of electricity prices. The pattern of end-user electricity prices has been affected by different factors this year. Among them is a drop in wholesale prices caused by the fall in electricity demand and higher levels of renewables in the system. These are reflected to various extents in the countries we have selected for analysis. The highest impact was observed in Norwegian end-user prices. The declines of around 77% for industry and 42% for households was closely coupled with the fall in wholesale prices, down by 86% in quarter 2 of 2020 compared to the same quarter of 2019, caused by low demand and exceptionally high hydro and wind generation. Most other countries do not show such close coupling of wholesale and end-user prices. This is especially true for household prices, which on average consist to a larger extent of fixed grid charges, taxes and levies, for example around 77 in Germany. Also, a higher share of customers are still subscribed to regulated tariffs, for example 78% in France in 2018, which could explain a delay until lower procurement costs are reflected in end-user prices. Households in Spain, Germany, the United Kingdom, and the United States paid on average 9%, 6%, 5%, and 1% less in quarter 2 of 2020 compared with the same period in 2019, whereas wholesale prices dropped by much more. Prices for industrial customers did not closely follow wholesale prices in this quarter either, except as previously mentioned in Norway. In Europe, dynamic pricing contracts are only available in 7 EU countries and Norway. As pointed out by the European Commission, these contracts could help to reduce the energy supply component of electricity prices significantly, and at the same time offer incentive to final consumers to participate in demand response and thereby foster the integration of renewable energy in regions with a high share of variable renewables and increasing levels of electrification. The last point, status of market levelization. Globally, the status of market levelization varies. Wholesale markets that are fully competitive comprise 40% of global demand, with a further 47% having some form of hybrid competition, such as unbundled generation and transmission ownership with state-owned companies or independent power producers, or full competition in a portion of jurisdiction. Vertically integrated utilities comprise the remaining jurisdiction that make up 13% of global demand. Retail markets are liberalized to a lesser extent than wholesale markets, with fully competitive markets accounting for 22% of global demand, partially competitive accounting for 45%, and fully regulated monopolies the remaining 33%. Europe is the region in which markets operate under the greatest degree of liberalization. 93% of demand in Europe operates under full wholesale market competition, with 85% under full retail competition. In North America, 48% of demand is in full competitive wholesale markets, with 29% under the full retail competition. Central and South America, 25% under full wholesale competition. Asia, 18%, and the Middle East and Africa, 0%, show lower levels of liberalization. That was a part of Electricity Market Report. Thank you for listening. My name is Hope.